Somebody got an email from a friend recently who was perplexed as I am about Donald Trump's continuing popularity among the Republican voters, despite the massive damage that he's done to the party. Trump lost the House, the Senate, and the squad in Arizona, Georgia, and the suburbs for the GOP. He wrote, not to mention trying to steal an election, which resulted in a domestic terrorist attack on the U.S. Capitol. And these Republicans still worship the guy, and they want more. It's nothing less than astounding, but it's fucking true. Trump, despite all the chaos he has caused, remains the party's most popular and most divisive figure. A recent Quinnipiac survey found that 87% of Republicans believe Trump should be allowed to hold office again, which I don't believe he should, compared to only 43% of Americans overall. And 75% want him to continue to play a prominent role in the Republican Party, which I don't, compared to only 34% overall. Only 11% of Republicans believe that Trump was responsible for inciting the violence, which should be higher, on Capitol Hill on January 6th, according to the poll, while more than half of Americans, 54%, think that he's responsible. He may be down, but he is certainly not out of favor with the GOP. Twice impeached and vilified by Democrats in the trial and virtually silenced on social media, despite it all, Donald Trump keeps a solid footnote in the Republican Party, according to Tim Malloy, who conducted the poll for Quinnipiac University. And here's some on the ground evidence of that. The 7 GOP senators who voted to convict Trump of his impeachment trial have been censored by their local or state Republican parties, or facing blowback from voters back home. Whether they realize it or not, those GOP committees are giving Democrats just what they want. Their goal all along has been to divide Republicans over loyalty to Trump, and Democrats may viscerally detest everything about him, but they know he is the gift that keeps on giving. And herein lies the problem for the Republican Party. As long as Trump is around and remains his bellicose self, note what he recently said about Senate Minority Leader Moscow Mitch, the party will have a tough time winning back those moderate suburban voters in 2024, and their voters the GOP has counted on in the past, but lost the last time around because they couldn't stomach 4 more years of Trump. God couldn't stomach 4 more years of him either. In fact, Trump's own pollster has concluded that he lost largely due to a massive swing among the independent voters, along with the defection of the more moderate Republican voters. On Sunday, Trump is scheduled to speak at a CPAC in Orlando, his first public appearance since he lost the White House last month. Unless he has a personality transplant between now and then, expect more of the same kind of rhetoric that he will add to fuel to what some are calling a civil war within the GOP. Expect him to tell the audience that the Democrats stole the election for him, which they didn't, and expect his sycophants to cheer, and expect a lot of other voters to wish he'd just go away. The problem for Republicans is that most Americans simply do not like the former squatter. If you'll excuse the understatement, he never reached 50% approval during his 4 years in office. And if they had liked him, he probably would have beaten Joe Biden, which I doubt that he would have. It's hard to see how he could win if he decided to run again in 2024, but it's hard to see how, because of his popularity among the more passionate GOP base. Any Republican could win if the candidate doesn't have what they call Trump's enthusiastic support. And here's where it gets interesting and tricky. Trump's support not only could help a GOP candidate, but it could also be a detriment. As the former squatters pollster learned, to a lot of swing voters, he's toxic. So yes, it's possible that Republicans can take control of the House in 2 years, which hopefully they don't. Maybe even the Senate, which also hopefully they don't. But what the candidates have to say about Donald Trump is whether they embrace him or stay clear of him. Whether he endorses them or gives them a thumbs down will go a long way in determining whether they win or lose. The country is moving past the Trump squadancy, and the GOP will remain in the wilderness until it does so, says an editorial in the Wall Street Journal. I think that's basically right. His sycophants still love him, but since most Americans don't, it comes down to one of those sticky catch-22s. Republicans might not be able to win with Trump, but it looks like they'll also have a tough time winning without him. If he gets too close to any future candidate, the moderates who find Trump toxic might sit at home on election day. And if he doesn't get close enough, the base might find better things to do than vote for a candidate who Trump doesn't find worthy. Heads, I win. Tails, you fucking lose. Of course, there's always the possibility that Democrats will move so far left that they'll somehow manage to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, and Republicans can only hope.